Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're uncovering the story behind a covert and controversial mission known as Operation Hope. Despite its optimistic name, this operation was far from noble. Designed as a Cold War-era initiative, Operation Hope sought to undermine political stability and target nations under the guise of humanitarian aid and development. In reality, it was a calculated effort to control foreign governments, spread propaganda, and manipulate global narratives in favor of Western interests. In this video, we'll explore the hidden details of this operation, the tactics used, and its far-reaching consequences. What was Operation Hope? Operation Hope was a clandestine program launched during the Cold War, ostensibly to provide humanitarian aid and development assistance to struggling nations. However, its real purpose was to influence political systems, infiltrate local governments, and suppress socialist movements in regions deemed strategically important. This operation was particularly active in Africa, Latin America, and Southeast Asia, where poverty and instability made nations vulnerable to both Western and Soviet influence. Under the banner of hope, the program exploited humanitarian efforts to serve hidden geopolitical agendas. Dirty tactics used in Operation Hope. Weaponizing humanitarian aid. Operation Hope directed resources like food, medicine, and infrastructure development to regions experiencing crises. However, aid was often conditional on political compliance, ensuring that recipient governments aligned with Western policies. Propaganda campaigns. The operation funded radio programs, newspapers, and cultural initiatives to promote pro-Western ideologies. Simultaneously, it worked to discredit socialist and communist movements, labeling them as threats to peace and progress. Infiltrating local governments. Western agents were embedded in aid organizations and diplomatic missions, allowing them to gather intelligence and manipulate political systems. These operatives worked to destabilize socialist-leaning governments by supporting opposition groups or orchestrating coups. Diverting public opinion. The operation used controlled media to portray Western nations as benevolent saviors while depicting rival powers, particularly the Soviet Union, as aggressors. This manipulation aimed to win hearts and minds in strategically significant regions. Why it was dirty. While the facade of Operation Hope was rooted in humanitarian assistance, its true motives and actions were far from altruistic. The operation exploited human suffering as a tool for political gain, often leaving the targeted nations worse off. In many cases, the aid provided under Operation Hope was selectively distributed to strengthen pro-Western elites, further marginalizing already vulnerable populations. This approach not only deepened inequality, but also eroded trust in genuine humanitarian efforts. Impact and consequences. The immediate impact of Operation Hope was the weakening of socialist movements and the solidification of Western influence in target nations. However, the long-term consequences were far more damaging. Many countries became politically unstable and economically dependent on foreign aid, creating a cycle of dependency that stifled growth. Additionally, the operation's exposure in later years led to widespread distrust of Western aid programs, with many perceiving them as tools of neocolonialism rather than genuine assistance. Legacy and lessons. Operation Hope serves as a reminder of how humanitarian efforts can be manipulated for political gain. It underscores the importance of ensuring that aid is driven by genuine concern for human well-being, rather than hidden agendas. This operation also highlights the ethical dilemmas of blending intelligence operations with humanitarian missions, which often leaves lasting scars on the nations involved. Operation Hope is a clear example of how geopolitical ambitions can corrupt even the most well-intentioned initiatives. While it succeeded in achieving short-term strategic goals, the long-term damage to trust and stability was profound. If you found this deep dive into Operation Hope enlightening, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more stories about hidden operations and their impacts. Let us know in the comments what topics you'd like us to explore next. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.